And so on a Monday in late April of 2013, a member of the family and two attorneys came to our offices, and we escorted them into the conference room, and I sat down with them, introduced myself, and after a few pleasantries, they put a box on the table, pushed it across the table to me, and I opened it up, and in the box there were 18 coins. Each of them was in an individual Ziploc baggie about that big, and it had a sticker on it that said the date of the coin and the denomination. And through the Ziploc baggies, I could see that all of the coins were covered in rust and dirt, and it was very obvious that I was looking at some sort of a ground find. So I reached in and I pulled out a coin, and this was it. I actually took this picture sitting there at the table with them. It was an 1890 S20 encrusted in, as you can see, a little bit of rust and mostly dried on dirt. And what I saw when I looked at this was these areas that aren't covered in dirt that looked like they were 6-7 quality, basically as made. And I looked at this coin and I looked across the table and said, well, how many coins did you find? And there was some whispering, and the family member turned to me and said, well, a little over 1,400. And they swear to this day that I didn't miss a beat, but I mean, I felt the wheels turning, and I had this sort of moment that went on forever in my mind, because I realized, I'm probably looking at what might be one of the greatest hoards ever discovered in the United States. And I basically explained to them, do you understand what it is that you have? And they were looking at this as, well, this is a big problem. We've got a lot of these coins, and if we bring them into the market, it's going to crash the market, or nobody will want to buy them. Maybe we need to melt some of these things down. I mean, these are the discussions I'm having with them. And I basically said, well, this is a great story. Everybody dreams of finding buried treasure, and maybe you can leverage this story to actually help to pay for the expenses of marketing these coins. And so we ended up having a series of discussions that actually stretched into August. And I sat down with them, Don sat down with them, and in August, right before the ANA, the family and their attorneys came with contracts and 1,427 coins and dropped them off at our offices. And again, these coins were all individually bagged. They all had a little number on them and the date and denomination of the coin. There were about 400 1889 S20s, a couple hundred 1892S and 1890 S20s, and then a wide mixture of dates. There were four $5 gold pieces, 50 $10 gold pieces, and 1,373 20s. The date ranges were from 1847 to 1894. And it was very, very difficult to ascertain the condition of the coins again, because they were covered in a pretty tremendous amount of dirt and grit. It was obvious that they needed to be conserved in some way, and I decided, because they had spent maybe an hour wiping coins before they realized that that probably wasn't a good idea, I sort of had a really good group of test subjects to work on. And so taking a bunch of the coins that obviously would never grade, I was able to actually experiment for a day or two and determine a couple of different processes to remove the stuff from the coins without impacting the actual color of the metal, and without actually damaging the coins. And so after probably about really 2 hours of goofing around with these coins, I was able to remove the dirt, and this is that first coin that I saw. It came out rather nicely. And then we had some other coins that started out a little bit uglier. That's an 1883 S20. This was actually one of the more challenging coins to deal with. This is the after picture for that. So it was an interesting process. It ended up lasting from, I really got started in earnest in September, and we were there working on these things. The final day that I worked on them was Christmas Day. I needed to have everything ready by the 27th, and so I pulled a 20-hour day on Christmas Eve and a 22-hour day on Christmas Day, got them done. And it was a really interesting process because, as you can imagine, you know, these coins are starting out barely recognizable as coins, and you know, I would do batches of about 18 at a time, and you know, I'd finish a coin and look at it and say to myself, "Oh my God, I don't think anyone's ever seen one this nice." I'd look at the pop report. Well, certainly no one's seen one this nice, and it would happen again and again and again. And I would get these trays of 18 coins, and I'd run all over the office and go from desk to desk and look at this stuff, and nobody got it except for Don. And you know, of course, we couldn't talk about any of this stuff outside of the office. So for months, I was literally losing my mind, looking at these incredible coins and finding myself not in a position to really share with anyone who would understand just how exciting it was, what was going on. Here are some other coins that showed up. This was actually one of the first 18 coins that I saw, 75cc 10. This was very heavily encrusted in both rust and dirt. It came out nice. It's actually very nicely struck for the date. Of course, the coin that's gotten the most press in the group, No Motto 66S20 that came out in '62. This actually had quite a bit of rust on the left-hand side in front of the face, and the back was pretty well encrusted. Its sister, 66S with Motto, that came back in '62 plus, a really beautiful coin. And then there were a group of very, very nice 70S's. This 77S, which is really one of my favorite coins in the entire deal, was just shockingly beautiful. And then a few other things, 90cc that came back in '63. The finest coin in the collection, a 90S in '66 plus with a proof-like reverse. One of the 92S's that came out real nice. In the world? It doesn't make sense. Okay.